Well, it's the top of the hour. I think we're going to get the webinar started. Mike, I think you can take us away whenever you're ready.
Sure. Thank you. All right. As people kind of file in here, get things going. So happy Halloween, everyone. Welcome to our webinar, The Death of the Third-Party Cookie Doesn't Have to Be Scary. Today, we'll be looking at how marketers can move away from their reliance on cookies and leverage first-party data for better marketing measurement and ultimately incremental growth. First of all, we'd like to thank everyone for taking time out to join us today. We're very excited to share some novel solutions to some very real-world problems. A couple of housekeeping notes before we get started. This webinar will be recorded and we'll send out a link afterwards. And please feel free to drop in any questions and comments in the chat. We'll monitor those and make sure that we answer all questions at the end. All right, so let's get started with a brief agenda and then we'll introduce the speakers for today.
Awesome, thanks, Mike. So quick rundown. So we have some great guests from Bonsai here today that you'll meet in a minute. So we'll do an introduction and go through a couple things of the state of play with third-party data today. We'll talk about Bonsai and our first-party data measurement framework, philosophy, and solutions. And then we're going to dive into some case studies that we're really excited about. So at the end, we will save time for questions. So I would also call out, we plan to use the webinar chat to monitor questions that come throughout the day. So please use that webinar chat. We'll circle back both during the time as we discussed, but also at the end. So I guess with that, let's go into intro. So I'm not actually a Ghostbuster, but I play one for today. My name is Matt Butler. I run Bonsai, and yeah, hand it over to Mike.
Everyone, Mike Remke, the other co-founder at Bonsai, engineering background, and my favorite Halloween candy is Twix.
Yeah, I already forgot to tell you my favorite Halloween candy, so thank you for reminding me, Mike. My first Reese's Peanut Butter Cup was at 6:30 o'clock this morning, so that is definitely top of my list.
Hi, everyone. I'm Lydia Fern. I've been an analytical lead here at Bonsai for just about a year and a half. And my go-to Halloween candy has got to be a Kit Kat bar.
Hi, everyone. My name is Chris George. I'm a data scientist. I've been here at Bonsai for almost about 9 months now and have about 12 years of experience in a variety of data science positions. My favorite, well, Matt took mine, the Reese's, but I think my favorite candy is Mike and Ike. So I got the sweets covered portion opposed to the chocolate.
Wonderful. Well, Mike and Ike and chocolate, I don't know how it could get any better, right? Like all of those are, I'm hoping my kids save a few pieces of candy at the end of trick-or-treating today. Although if the house is full as it is before Halloween trick-or-treating, and I guess I don't really have to worry about it too much. But anyway, getting into the content for today, let's go to the next slide. So the theme of our webinar, as you can see, with Halloween being today, is the work, then the issues around the death of the third-party cookie. And so the stat we wanted to start with is 40%. So it's a scary stat. That's the current estimate today of how many online customers are no longer measurable reliably with your third-party cookies and third-party tracking. You might not think about third-party cookies every day, but they play a big role in your digital marketing. They are the conversion tracking in your Google conversion tracking. They power your Facebook ads program. They power even folks who run B2B marketing and drive leads for ABM. They're often powered by LinkedIn conversions as well. So they power marketing across consumer and business. And so to know that 40% of those conversions aren't measurable, those users aren't trackable with cookies, could be pretty daunting. If that doesn't scare you, there's two other numbers that might. So one, I know the digital marketers and practitioners are very intimately familiar with, and that is a number of 28. So 28 is a stat from research that Bonsai has done that captures how many marketing platforms mid-market or enterprise marketing program is using on average today. And so 28 is the number. That is the amount of unique platforms that are being juggled by marketers. And that means that not only are you balancing this much complexity in your digital approach, but it means that you're getting 28 different reports around how investment and marketing performance looks for your business. If that is the number that's scary to the marketers, the number that might scare your finance teams is 29. So what is 29? That is the number, this is research from 2023, that on average, leading direct-to-consumer brands are losing every single time they acquire a customer in 2023 through marketing efforts. So that means that companies are spending more money acquiring new customers than they're making from them. And that is downright frightening. So what is the solution? Go to the next slide. So marketing with third-party data has these scary issues, and the solution to bring first-party intelligence to marketing and activation is the way forward. Bonsai achieves doing this through a couple different sets of tools and solutions that we'll share, but we really accomplish this through three big initiatives, three big objectives. The first thing that Bonsai does is we design first-party data. So what that means is custom configured analytics and technology. The next thing is we unify first-party data to take the marketing analytics and insights that you're collecting that has been configured and join it up with business and customer data to have a single unified view of first-party. After having a single view of marketing, sales, and business data, you need to utilize it. So digital marketing activation strategies based on first-party data strategies, understanding incrementality and automation on top of those are three great ways that we work with businesses of all types to drive activation and success out of a first-party data approach. The overall impact is two things. One, getting an insight into how your business is really growing, so marketers can understand what's driving success. And then from the C-suite and board perspective, business leaders can understand what's really working within our marketing program. To get a little bit more specific on the journey from a third-party data-driven marketing approach to a first-party data-driven approach, you can see that there can be a lot of steps in the path, and so it can be a little spooky and scary. We're here today to talk about a few of these concepts today, but at a high level, it starts with understanding your data and analytics, bringing it to a unified business and marketing framework, moving into better intelligence through unified customer measurement, and then activating both strategically and with predictive analytics and insights, which is the point on the furthest on the right. And what you see when you move from designing, unifying, and then utilizing first-party data is you start with a lot of data overload, 28 different views of the world, to on the far right, where you have a single view of your customer, of your business, and your marketing objectives, and better outcomes and results for your program. Today's content is going to focus on a few of the steps in that journey. We're going to focus a lot on the measurement and predictive analytics side of a first-party data strategy. And so I want to turn it over to our analytical lead, Lydia, to talk through the first one of those today, which is unified customer measurement.
Awesome. Thanks, Matt. Yes, unified customer measurement, or as we call it, UCM. So what is UCM? UCM is Bonsai's multi-touch attribution model, and specifically it's built on top of the customer journey that we stitch together. So it is custom built every single time on top of any and all of your currently disconnected first-party data sources, marketing data, sales data, promotional data, etc. It completely ignores third-party cookies, tags, pixels, etc. And ultimately, we see UCM as an engine that you can use to answer all of your burning questions about your customers and your marketing portfolio. So, where should I put my next marketing dollar? What are my different customer segments? Ultimately, who are my most valuable customers and how can I get more of them? We strongly believe here at Bonsai that the two key elements to a successful marketing strategy are first-party data and multi-touch attribution. And why is that? Why do we believe that so strongly? So here is a little hypothetical customer journey. We have Wendy the Witch here. She is surfing the web, she's looking at news, and she sees a display ad pop up for this new boutique broomstick shop. And so she's intrigued, she clicks on it, surfs around the site. Okay, it's interesting, but she's not ready to purchase. So she clicks out, goes about her day. Maybe the next day or even a week later, she sees an Instagram ad for the same shop, and something about the messaging or the creative kind of draws her in and intrigues her. So she again browses the site again, still does not purchase. Finally, a couple weeks later, her broomstick's worn out. She's tired of it. She's ready to make a purchase. What was that shop again? And, one Google search later, she's found it and she's made the purchase. So if you're this boutique broomstick shop and you want to understand, what happened, how did Wendy actually make a purchase, and what marketing channels are working, what data are you going to look at? If you are using and relying on third-party platform conversion data, ultimately what you're going to get is an over-attribution of your marketing impact. You'll look at your programmatic platform data, your Facebook data, your Google Ads data, and they'll all say, hey, we all drove one sale independently with no other help. Isn't that great? And so you'll have a false view of the impact of your marketing. Maybe you're a little bit more sophisticated. You use a last touch attribution model based on your own sales data. That's great, but ultimately what you're going to get is, every single time your bottom of funnel channels are going to be over attributed. You're going to take all the credit and you're going to be left wondering, does my display social, does this do anything? It doesn't have any kind of impact looking at a last touch model. And so ultimately, what a first-party multi-touch attribution model will give you is all the channels will get their rightful accurate credit for driving sales, purchases, customers, and your teams will really know where should they be investing more or less. Bonsai's first-party multi-touch attribution, or UCM, takes us even a step further. Our UCM solution is completely windowless. So you're never limited to, well, did this have an impact within 5 days or 30 days or 3 months? We're looking at the entire downstream impact of every channel. And also our UCM solution is completely customizable for your particular business needs. So anything can be a touch point, not just traffic to the site from specific channels, but maybe you want to understand how email sends impact your sales, or how use of certain promo codes impact your sales. Anything that is a digital action or behavior from your customers can be included in the customer journey to understand the ultimate impact, the quantifiable value of those actions. And then finally, you can have completely customized KPIs. So if we were working with this, broomstick shop, maybe we would say, okay, display drove 0.33 attributed broomsticks or $33 of attributed revenue. But that might be completely different for your business and what you sell and your revenue model. So multi-touch attribution is great. Ultimately, what this shows us is that in order to have MTA, you have to understand the customer journey. And to have the customer journey, you have to unify your data. And so this is something that when we work with clients, we spend a lot of time focused on this aspect of it because it's the foundation for everything else. So we'll take a look at, all of your marketing data sources, your web, or if you have an app, your app analytics data sources, all of your relevant business and sales data. And we unify this in our data warehouse. And then on top of this is where we build everything else. In terms of how then a client would actually interact with an MTA solution, you're not going to want to be combing through data tables and, looking at a super technical set of data. What you really want is a way to understand, okay, how should I interact with this and what should I do with this information? So there are three main ways that we help bring this to life and deliver this to clients. First, we do build custom and dynamic business intelligence views, so you can see in one place the cost and the impact and the efficiency of your entire digital marketing portfolio. This will help you make high-level strategic decisions and your more day-to-day tactical decisions as well. We are not just a product. Ultimately, we are a service and an advisory first and foremost. And we have a team of analysts and digital media specialists and engagement managers who can dive even deeper into this unified data and provide custom insights and custom recommendations, even as your business grows and changes over time. And then finally, there are applications of UCM that can make an immediate and automated impact into your bidding and buying efficiencies. And this is where we are going to look into another solution of Bonsai's, which is built off of UCM. And this is predicted click value, or PCV. So PCV is Bonsai's first-party buying solution. It trains Google's AI using your first-party data. It gets you better results with 0 third-party cookies. So how does PCV work? So what if you could predict the value of every click every day on your site? UCM, like I mentioned, you might interact with it as a dashboard or as a set of custom recommendations, but ultimately it is a record of every single click to your website, as many collectible attributes that we can get about where that click came from, and then ultimately a true quantifiable value number of that click. And that's true even for clicks that did not immediately lead to a conversion during that visit. And so because we have this record of clicks and all their attributes and their value, we can use that to build this PCV model to predict the value of every click every day to your site. And the result of this is a bidding signal that has 3 attributes that Google Ads Smart Bidder really, really loves and craves. So all of its data is super recent. It is extremely high volume, much more high volume than you can get just based on converted clicks. It is spookily accurate. And ultimately, yes, it is compatible with the Smart Bidder and can be fed directly in without any other kind of, AI builds needed. And so PCV will allow you to get better results, again, with 0 reliance on that third-party cookie data and also with no last touch bias. So that is how PCV works. The next question obviously is, does it work? So we have a few case studies here on some PCV trials that we've rolled out in the last year. So we've rolled out PCV across these 3 different customer trials, and in all, it's managed about $20 million of paid search spend. We've seen an average ROI lift of 30%. And that's compared to a more traditional cost per conversion bidding signal. In one customer trial, we actually found that PCV acquired customers who made higher dollar purchases, and they also billed through longer in subscription purchases. And we also found that PCB was much better at weeding out lower intent customers. For example, people who are using the word free in their searches. And we do want to give a shout out to Tenuity, who has been our trusted SEM partner for these PCB trials. We've been extremely fortunate to work with them, and their work has definitely made these trials a success. So thank you very much, Tenuity. So recapping UCM and all that it is, Unified Customer Measurement, it uses customer journey and MTA to understand the true business value of your performance media clicks, which is awesome, but it is not the full picture. So what about your channels that aren't click-based? What about your more brand-focused media tactics? And this is where incrementality comes into play. So incrementality uses time series and external factors to tell you the impact of your impression-based media. And together, combined, you can have the true value of your entire portfolio. So now I'm going to hand it over to Chris, and he is going to walk us through how we leverage UCM to build incrementality models and how you can use them to optimize your portfolio even further.
Thanks, Lydia. So while UCM offers a powerful way to optimize your tactics with first-party data, as you talked about, I'm going to actually talk about incrementality models and how they provide a holistic 360-degree understanding of what's working to drive additional revenue and other key metrics to your business. So the first thing to note is that Bonsai's incrementality models are powered by much of the same data underlying the UCM solution, but we add in additional marketing sources, different types of data, as Lydia mentioned, impression-based metrics. We add in competitive and brand intelligence signals and other external factors that influence business outcomes. We then take these data points and create time series models that look at each of these factors at a daily level and use impact windows to adjust for time effects different channels have on business outcomes. The end result is a channel by channel or campaign by campaign set of incremental purchases and customer outcomes that can be married to spend data to tell you how each channel is incrementally adding to your bottom line and at what efficiency. So you can think of our incrementality model as the insight driver for which channels are working, which aren't, to help you understand the levers to pull for incremental growth using your existing budget as well as your next marginal marketing dollar. And when you look at Bonsai's incrementality solution and how it differs from other alternatives on the market, just a few big differences stand out. So first, incrementality solution is built off the same data sources as UCM, as I mentioned, but with these same data sources and connections, we're able to provide insights on a cadence much closer to real time as your marketing campaigns are in flight or wrapping up. This is in comparison to some of the more traditional solutions and mixed modeling, where you don't have to wait till the end of the year or for quarterly readouts that are 3 months stale by the time you receive them. Bonsai's results are up to the day and are powered by robust data pipelines that make reporting an order of magnitude faster than alternative options on the market. And unlike other more modern solutions in the market, however, Bonsai's cookieless approach, test and learn capabilities, and additional platform capabilities present overall a broader, holistic approach over other single point solutions. And as Lydia mentioned, this is all wrapped with expertise in applied marketing science from experienced practitioners who can help advise you through the whole process. And now I'm going to just kick it over back to Matt to take us home.
Thanks, Chris. So through what we've covered with unified customer measurement and first-party attribution approach, and how we use that to think about things, not just from a customer journey and an observable perspective, all the way to a full funnel marketing measurement strategy. The takeaway that we wanted to share with everyone today, and sort of the theme of today's talk and these wonderful visuals, is basically this. The death of the third-party cookie is something that, as a marketing practitioner, director, a CMO, or kind of someone around the operations of marketing doesn't need to fear, not because it's not happening, but because you don't need to base your marketing strategy and execution on the third-party cookie anymore. There's measurement solutions and first-party data, there are going to be there to take you much further from insights and analytics perspective, but you also don't even need it to do a lot of the traditional things you're used to doing in terms of marketing activation and execution. You can buy and acquire new customers with marketing, with Google, with Facebook, with all your other digital marketing platforms just as effectively, and if not more so, much more effectively than you could when it was based entirely on a third-party data-driven approach. We have a few questions coming in, so thank you for submitting those. If we want to go to the next slide, we do want to open it up and put out to the attendees today who, now that you've heard a little bit about unified customer measurement, predictive click value, buying with Google's AI, and Chris, as he walked through on the incrementality modeling side, if you have questions about those particular solutions or just the overall first-party data strategy that we teed up today, just encourage you to enter them into the chat. And I guess I will kick off with one of the questions that's in the chat right now, which is going back to UCM, and particularly the multi-touch attribution solution. How long has that been in market today? And so, yeah, really exciting. We were actually talking right before we came on for today's webinar that Bonsai actually hasn't done a webinar hosted by ourselves in a few years now. So end of 2020, I think, was the last time we hosted a webinar, and UCM is a little newer than that. So we've essentially been live with that capability since end of 2021, and now we're really excited to have it as a real credible solution for multiple customers. Here as we're getting into the later stages of 2023. Another question that we have on the multi-touch attribution front, or UCM front, is circling back to the attribution model itself. How does this multi-touch attribution model differ from a Facebook ads conversion attribution model? And I guess I'll throw it over to Lydia quickly on this just to cover it, but yeah, I think there's a couple different ways to answer that. But Lydia, why don't you jump in?
Sure. Yeah, I think this is a great question. One thing that we would, we definitely say here at Bonsai that nothing that we do is proprietary or not necessarily being done in other places. And places like Facebook and Google are going to have extremely, smart and talented data scientists and data engineers. So none of that is really what makes Bonsai different. Really what makes it different is that those platforms are never going to have visibility of or understanding of your actual business, how your business works and what your actual business data is. So, a really, really sophisticated attribution or incrementality model that doesn't have real business data is going to fail each time. That's why we spend so much time focused on really understanding your business, how it works, your goals, and then also unifying all of that data in one spot. Anything else to add, Matt?
No, I think that's awesome. Thank you, Lydia. We have another attribution question, but I want to get to one question we have on incrementality modeling side. So this question is, what marketing channel investments are typically best analyzed with incrementality modeling? And I guess, why is that?
You want me to take that one? I mean, I think we touched on it a little bit earlier. You know, the vast number of different types of impression data or touch points that aren't directly measurable and included within MTA, you know, are a great addition to the framework of incrementality because it's part of your holistic program. And I think one of the benefits of the Bonsai's approach is that you can get very customized in terms of the platform or the type of data that you're putting into it, whether that's TV or other different types of social impressions, especially ones that are not immediately or the majority of their time coming through clicks, right? If there are sources where you might have some click data, but it's very top of funnel, it's very early in the impression data, like you want to consider that holistically and not only be limited to just to click data, to consider the overall portfolio. And so I think it's the rest of the sort of like the supporting efforts that you have top of funnel and through the rest of your sources that really are like the sort of like the most supplemental and some of the best analyzed data for incrementality solution.
Perfect.
So-
Yeah, thank you, Chris. Yeah,
Mhm.
totally agree. There's definitely a value in having both, and I would say incrementality measures all channels really well, but there's particularly, there's multiple parts of a marketing funnel that are often not as observable, right, with the other solutions. On to a question on predicted click value. How is this better or different from value-based bidding? I think they're talking about Google Ads, smart bidding. So I guess I'll take this one, and then of course, Lydia, if you want to chime in. A big thing about the PCV capability is that it essentially is a value engine that works really seamlessly with the existing Google Smart Bidding framework. So to kind of circle back to that idea and to clarify, so Google Ads Smart Bidding is Google's basically like their internal bidding algorithm that they've used. It works across their platforms and does a great, frankly, a great job, right, of taking budgets and allocating them across, whether you're a Google search advertiser or a Google search and shopping advertiser, or do video and Performance Max, right? It works across all their internal solutions really well, and it can help identify the kind of best, real-time bidding signals to use in market. What Google's smart bidding capability doesn't have in terms of, it has great answers on the bid decisioning side. What it often will lack, though, is a real good understanding of what is actually valuable. So the data being fed into the smart bidding capabilities or value-based capabilities, I think, that are referenced in this question. So what PCV, and the exciting thing that it is doing, is it's taking your first-party measurement data, your first-party attribution data, and taking that and giving it to Google in a signal that it can use to understand value in a lot better way and turn smart bidding on and drive, again, what we've seen in our customer examples and successes is, finding a more valuable customer across the platform. Any other things to fill in on that one, Lydia?
Yeah, I think you covered it. I think the other thing that as we've been, developing and testing PCV over the last year, the thing we've just really realized is that the Google Smart Bidding product, it works really well, and it works well when it has a lot of data fed to it. And so if you're using a typical value-based bidding that is dependent on conversions, only a small percentage of all the clicks to your site every day are actually going to end in a conversion. So you're really limited to the amount of data that you can feed into Smart Bidder and to train it on. And so what PCV really does is it just expands the amount of data that you're able to send in, because we can know and predict the value of every click that lands on your site, even the ones that don't end in an actual conversion that day.
Those of you who are practitioners on the Google side are probably familiar with their internal data-driven attribution model, right? And it's like rolled out to be more of the standard approach within the Google Ads conversion pixel and conversion data. And that is like obviously a helpful signal for Google to come closer to understanding the value of cross clicks, right? As Lydia mentioned, like not just the ones that directly led to a sale or were last click conversions, but yeah, like there's obviously a lot more than just Google Ads traffic for the typical growing digital marketing program and business that depends on it. And so like there's quite a bit more insight that you get and a wider breadth of insights and value that you get from PCV approach versus even a Google data-driven attribution approach. I'm looking through, like there's one other question on unified customer measurement with respect to the attribution model itself. What is your MTA model? Is it linear or U-shaped? So good question. So you might, if you're familiar with essentially rules-based attribution approaches, there's a few you might be familiar with. We've talked about last click today. You might be familiar with first click or U-shaped or some of these other approaches. So unified customer measurement, essentially, you can think of it as a linear attribution-ish model that does also take into account and put some special emphasis on the things that help you acquire a brand new customer journey and value, and doesn't ignore the end and the things that you do right before a purchase, because those are very important. So it essentially is a model that is similar to linear and U-shapes combined would be how I would describe it. The biggest thing is not as much about the mathematical differences between the unified customer measurement MTA and other like mathematical approaches that either your platforms use today or you could use. But it is, I think, Lydia, you touched on it in your part, but the real big differences are the attribution is around the entire customer journey itself. It is to the first party data set you have on your customer. And so typical things you're used to doing in any attribution model, like looking at a attribution window, like saying like, hey, is there a 7-day attribution window or a 30-day attribution window or some other period of time? There is no requirement or need to like take a small subset of your data and just attribute impacts to that subset. So unified customer measurement is really powerful in that it's able to take in all of the data around your customer journeys for as long as the customer journey takes. Some of your customers you can close really quickly. Sometimes it takes, in Lydia's Witch example, multiple steps to lead to a purchase. And so that can take 7 days, 30 days, that could take a year or more. All of those things are measurable, and everyone's unified customer measurement MTA model is custom to their customer journeys and their business. So it captures the whole customer context. I'm looking through the list. I don't have any other questions that came through on the chat or on direct. Is there any other questions either on the attribution side, the incrementality modeling side, the bidding side, any other parts of our first party process that you wanted to circle back to? Happy to address. And I know that we've had a pretty good a group throughout, and some people were able to come in a little bit late or had to leave a little bit early. So just want to reiterate that the content for today will be shared out and recorded. So we'll have it available for review, or if you missed part of what we talked through at the beginning around attribution, or if you had to leave a little early before we got through all of the questions on incrementality, that's okay. We'll definitely be getting that out to attendees. The final thing we wanted to just quickly share is, the team at Bonsai, some of the great folks you see today, are looking for some more friends to navigate the spooky world of solving measurement and marketing in a first party with first party solutions and strategies. So we have some examples here. We have a link that is included in on the slide at the bottom, so you can check that out. Or if you're not following the Bonsai on LinkedIn, please do that. Quick social plug for that as well, and there'll be more information there. So yeah, I guess with that, just want to thank everyone for coming. It was really fun to kind of have the opportunity to do this on Halloween. I know probably many of you are looking forward to fun with kids and trick-or-treating and candy and all that stuff. And so you have a busy day ahead. But hopefully we're out in Chicago here, so hopefully wherever you are at, it's maybe a little bit warmer than our Halloween. But yeah, hope you all have a great rest of the day. Happy Halloween. Don't eat too much candy. And yeah, thank you all so much.